Welcome back to the Motorhome Matt podcast. I'm Keith Gooden, and with me, our resident expert, it's Motorhome Matt Sims. Welcome along again, Matt.
Hi, Keith. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks very much. And you?
Good. Yeah, very much. Good to see you. It's good to be back.
Excellent. Today's podcast is brought to you with thatleisureshop.com, which happens to be your business.
It does.
So tell us a little bit more about it.
It's a fantastic shop, in-store and online. Started post-COVID. We thought it would be a good idea to open a shop on the high street. Why not? Just as they're all closing. And its primary products are camping, motorhome, caravan accessories and essentials that you need. Stuff that you would use when you go away in your leisure vehicle. It's a shop based in North Somerset, where we have all our businesses based there. And it's online as well. So our customer base is extraordinary. It's literally UK-wide. We've got customers in Ireland, and we've got customers appearing on the continent as well. France, Switzerland, Germany. It's been magnificent. It's a journey, I'll tell you. It's been very exciting.
I was having a poke round the shop just a few minutes ago, actually, and it's rammed full of all those things that you need for your motorhome or caravan, lightweight and things that fold up. And you think, I could use this in the garden or at home.
Yeah.
It's not just for your motorhoming, is it? Or caravanning. I was sitting on a stool when we were just having our fish and chips, which is all folded up and pack it away and flat pack it. And that's the thing, isn't it? We've discussed this in the past with motorhoming and caravanning. It's all about weight and space, isn't it?
It is, and lots of the new product. We've majored on new things to market. So we've got some fantastic range of chairs, tables, stools, as you say, some really innovative product that's incredibly light, and weight is a big issue when you're heading off in a motorhome or caravan, and so having lightweight chairs, lightweight tables is really important, but they don't have to be weak, they have to be strong, especially if you're sat on them. Or me, I'll be honest.
That's very true, especially after some fish and chips.
Yeah, I know, it's lovely that, wasn't it? It's a nice treat. Anyway, but the products they're really innovative, they're really great. It's not the products you see in every shop, and we've recorded it and spoken about this before, haven't we, about products that are appearing in our shop and in other shops is a far more John Lewis than you might expect them to be in a camping accessory shop. And so some really innovative products, lots of stuff that you can use in the garden too, as you say, windbreaks, outdoor furniture, and some great ranges of gadgets as well, some super Father's Day presents. I mean, I'm biased, as a bloke. Some brilliant torches. I mean, torches that will blind you. They're incredible. Aircraft grade titanium. It's amazing. Go and have a look. It's thatleisureshop.com. It's a really, really, really lovely website. It's built by the team here. It's been a massive amount of work, I have to say. We are definitely on a journey with it. It's growing at a heck of a rate. It's very exciting. So join us on that journey.
Talking of growing at a heck of a rate, this podcast, Motorhome Matt, is taking over the NEC show at the National Exhibition Centre, the big motorhoming and caravanning show, and your Fizzog is going to be everywhere.
My what?
Fizzog.
Fizzog.
Your face.
I'm not even sure what that is. Thank you. Well, we've got a stand. It's very exciting. It's the first time a podcast is featured at the Motorhome and Caravan Show. And we're honoured to be to carry that title. We've taken over lots of sponsorship at the show as well, so you won't miss it when you arrive. If you're heading near Weatherspoons or any of the coffee outlets, you'll see advertising for the podcast. And we're going to build a studio on the stand, so we're going to record some episodes there. Hopefully, if you're passing, come and contribute, come and say hi. Myself and the team will be there. And we're hoping to engage lots of people, get their view on the show, and find out a bit more about their motorhome caravan and where they've been in it.
Absolutely. So if you can get tickets at this late stage, have a go, get onto the website and see if you can book them. But the February show sold out very quickly, and this one's expected to do the same. So if you're disappointed, I'm sorry about that, but have a go anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, book early. That's the key.
Now, the theme to this particular podcast is Feasts and Fables. What does that mean then, Matt?
Yeah, so these are some friends of mine who they had full-time jobs. And we'll find out a bit more about that in a minute. But they quit their jobs, sort of retired, set up a deli, a beautiful deli in South Wales, but had the campervan bug and decided to, rather fortuitously, in January 2020, they closed the deli and headed off in their campervan. And I caught up with Barrie and JoJo, who go under the title of Feasts and Fables. JoJo is the cook and Barrie is the storyteller. And Barrie and I started talking about his career in the military.
In the Air Force for 30 years.
Right, okay. And
man and boy.
Man and boy. Tell us a bit about that. What were you doing for the Air Force?
So I was a logistics specialist. So back in the early 80s, they wanted everybody to fly airplanes, and I just didn't want to fly airplanes. I wanted to get out there and kick boxes. And so they taught me how to load aircraft, transport aircraft. But then the further I went through, the less of that stuff I did, and the more I kind of ran logistics arrangements, buying equipment, providing the stuff that people needed in the right place at the right time, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And you were in Afghanistan for a time, weren't you? You said.
Twice, yeah. It's when you add it up, it sort of comes to about 13 months altogether. Being in the logistics side, it was more backroom stuff, of course. But 2002, security was relaxed, and we were driving around between Kabul and Bagram. I was up on an American base there. And then next time I went back, it was a little more feisty, and I was at Kandahar for 6 or 7 months, and poor JoJo was waiting back at base, and the Zoom calls we did then, Skype, I guess it was, were often interrupted by sirens, and they're like, and I was just nothing to worry about, just got to go now.
Yeah, scary times. So what were you doing, JoJo, during this chapter in Barrie's life?
I spent about 17, 18 years in the civil service.
Right.
I came across the UK in a previous life. We all have previous lives, and I kind of fell into the civil service. It just happened to be, and it was Ministry of Defence for the majority of it.
Right.
And yeah, sort of in the east of England and then London. Our paths crossed a few times, along the way, and anyway, then we got together so a while later, and so pretty much just kind of, I had interesting jobs. It was mostly policy work, but I was kind of looking after certain regions of the world, so I got to do quite a lot of traveling with that. It was quite fun. Yeah,
awesome.
Part of which, Matt, coincidentally put JoJo and I in Afghanistan on the 16th of May 2009, which was slated to be our wedding day, but we brought that forward because the Air Force, in its wisdom, had sent me or come up with this cunning plan to send me to Afghanistan. So as serendipity, back into it straight away, would have it, JoJo was traveling with a senior boss and passed through Kandahar Air Base on the day that we were due to get married. So there are plenty of tales there. So when we start talking Feasts and Fables, there are many stories to under the hood.
So we come to the Feasts and Fables, which is the kind of brand that you're kind of living under, and that kind of sums you both up, doesn't it? Because you gave up that corporate life to launch a deli in South Wales.
One sort of followed the other. I mean, we gave up the corporate life to just kick back a little bit. I thought I was really going to kick back, and then JoJo just came back one day and said, there's this brilliant empty shop premises, do you fancy running a deli? So I thought that I would temporarily help JoJo out with her dream, and then 5 years later I'm pretty much stood behind the cheese counter the whole time, and JoJo is cooking up a storm. So JoJo is the Feast, she's Mrs. Feasts, and she cooks amazingly. And we really need to get her a kitchen again. And I'm the storyteller. As you can tell, I'm burbling on. So
I was going to say the feast bit came out of going back to when I was in the civil service, when I decided to leave. After we came back from Cyprus in 2012, I was kind of doing my final 6 months in the civil service in Bristol. And as part of leaving, I was given some time to go off and do some resettlement training effectively. And I thought, gosh, what am I going to do with my month? And I thought, so I booked a course at Ashburton Cookery School down in Devon. And I did a month's intermediate cookery level course. And it was incredible. It was a complete whole month immersed in a kitchen, and it was amazing. And I've loved food all my life, that's the thing, but this really got me the thing of this bug for cooking, and gosh, you could do this for people and whatever. So I guess then a few years later, when the deli came along, coincident with that, the last 2 years of the deli, we had a supper club at home. We ran it out of our chapel, and that was just an incredible, for me to be just 10 people, and I kind of did the whole menu from start to finish. It was like a tasting menu, but it was a set tasting menu. And after testing for people if they had any allergies or issues, then I set the menu, and we just had such fun. So that's for me, that's where the whole feasting part came out of that. So yeah, amazing.
And then there's another chapter, isn't there, which is where you are now, where you fortuitously again sold the deli business in January 2020.
Yeah, so we decided in the middle of 2019 that we wanted to create some space for ourselves. We'd sort of, as you say, we'd rolled from this busy corporate life into this incredibly busy self-starting small local business that just grew and grew and grew. And we realized we just had no time. We had no time for ourselves. We had no time for family and friends. We had no time to put other ideas into practice, and we're full of ideas. And so we told everyone that we were going to close in the January. And as you say, providential, because all of a sudden news was starting to emerge of this impending pandemic. And so we probably got off the high street at a good time, but what it did do was compromise the other element of us pulling a rug out from under ourselves, which was our house sale. So we had decided, well, look, how are we going to live a little more lightly? And well, we only have this amount of money coming in from an Air Force pension. Let's downsize everything to fit that. So take out the big elements, take out the mortgage, take out all the costs of running a house that was way too big for us, and then you free ourselves up from the things which were stopping us having the ability to put new ideas into practice by a van. Yeah, so because you've got to live somewhere, and so that's how we got into what is loosely called van life, and that's always a weird reflection of people in their 20s, showing their abs and having beautiful lake views, and so we're not the epitome of that, but we are definitely the epitome of people who have created a little bit of freedom by drawing everything down to the size of the place that we are now. We're sat in a van. We're still wired up. We're still connected to people. We've got everything we need here. Probably too much still.
Sorry.
But there's 40 books in a library here. So, but creating the space to think clearly, to kind of explore. And exploring the world is a metaphor for exploring ourselves, I suppose. And we've learned quite a lot through that. And it's given us a new direction for the way we want to be.
So I'm fascinated because you're right. You refer to the imagery of van life on Instagram, which, we've joked about that earlier, didn't we? Those youngsters diving into that crystal clear plunge pool. In fact, JoJo, when Barrie and I were chatting yesterday, you were in the sea having a swim.
I was. Sorry.
Good for you. That was your plunge pool.
Tide wasn't waiting for anybody. So I was like, oh, sorry, Matt's calling us. Yeah, I've got
it's fine.
going. Yeah, thank you.
But it's interesting that you're doing this at this chapter of your lives, where for many people they've built all this stuff around them, these securities. We believe them to be securities. And how do you break away from that? I mean, if someone's listening to this thinking, they're looking at the kind of next chapter of their life, which might be that retirement word, they've got an opportunity to take a break from conventional life as we know it in the Western world. What would you say to those that are in that place and thinking, I would love to just declutter my life, scale down, get a van, a Vauxhall Movano like yours, and just be free? How do people do that?
Well, literally, you've just got to do it. I mean, I know it's it sounds idyllic. It was quite a big push, and I'm remembering back to kind of February 2020 when we downsized. And there's quite a big part of emotionally untying from those things. But we're in a society that seems to put value on stuff, but stuff weighs heavily on you. what we've done is we've thought really carefully about where our memories lie. So we've got memory boxes in store. Of course we have. We've got bits of furniture that we sort of anticipated that at some point we would have a future base camp, and so we've kept the bits that mean something to us. Generally speaking, it's art. It's handmade bits of furniture. It's stuff which have got a value beyond the financial. They mean something to us. They're in our hearts. But you can pay for storage, and so we put it in storage. And every time we go there, we sort of look at it and go, God, we got a lot of stuff. We must have had a hell of a lot of stuff before. And so we just took that out of our eye line. We created a pot of money because we had some equity in the house. We're very lucky. That's the situation we've created by working hard over a good many years. And we had a pension. So all we've done is we've tuned our life around something smaller, and we've set our sights, our ambitions on giving ourselves time. Time takes up no space. Time is a modest thing. It doesn't cost anything, but we're only going to get a certain amount of it. And so what we've done is we've put a far higher value on time, and then we've made a judgment against all those other elements of the conventional life you talked about, Matt, and we've down selected the bits that were stopping us having the capacity, and by doing that we've created a freedom to make different choices. They're the choices that suited us. They may not be the choices that suit everybody, but if we've looked at buying a van, we've bought ourselves an asset. It's a home, but we were able to afford to buy it. Camping, parking wild, a combination of things, living more lightly, it doesn't cost as much. And so all the barriers that people put in the way, they fall down as you go through the process of consideration. But it kind of suits us, doesn't it?
I was going to say, when we first were kind of mooting the idea of doing this, and everybody would look at us because it was in the deli still. We're still telling people we're going to get rid of the deli and sell our house. And people go, oh my gosh, you're so brave. And brave was the word that just stuck. In fact, a lady yesterday in a shop was saying to her, and she said, an older lady, but she said, God, you're so brave. And I'm going, it's that word again, I'm not sure it's brave. It's just do it. Honestly, I'm just stealing somebody else's phrase, I know, but you just got to do it. And quite literally the phrase pulling the rug out from under yourself is it. And while it's cathartic, declutter and get rid of stuff, that's actually really hard as well, but you get through it. And then there's kind of a, oh, wow, I can breathe. And we learned you really need very little. We really need very little. And we're very much into the kind of the circular economy as well, and sort of reusing, repurposing, mending things, don't buy new. It just opens up a different, from what we're used to, a different kind of way of being. And it's really light, and it's a much, and we want to even embrace more of that as we go into the near future now, when we go, there's another part coming. So we want to have a much lighter footprint, more sustainable, not even sustainable, so anyway, but there's another story unfurling as well, I think now.
So what, are you going to share it?
It's quite a big story, but so I don't know if you guys had a discussion yesterday, but we're in the process of, all being well, in the last 18 months we've been in a van effectively, or house sitting, or doing various things without our own home base. And I need a kitchen. I miss my kitchen and all my gorgeous things in my kitchen. So we decided, kind of a long story short, that we're going to put roots down, get a little base somewhere. And Barry mentioned we have a little pot of money. It's not very big. It won't go very far in this country, unfortunately. So we're going to move across the waters to France. We're in the process of buying effectively a nearly just shy 2-acre farm. What was in France, in the middle somewhere, Middle West, and so we're kind of, hopefully we'll have it before the early autumn.
And it's an illustration that the things don't stand still, and the decisions that people might make, as we were discussing, Matt, those so-called brave decisions, they're not immutable. They things can evolve, and all we ever set out to do was to give ourselves capacity to think hard about how we wanted to live. The being in the van has created that sense of freedom, that sense of experiencing other things, other countries, meeting other people, talking to people, deciding how we were going to use our time. deciding how we were maybe able to use that time to give something to other people as well as ourselves. Of course, we want to live the very best life we can, but as we've gone along, there's been a chance to kind of think about how we help other people live their best life. And so the farm, we're going to probably call it Encouragement Farm, is going to be a really strong feature of that chance that we've given ourselves and those opportunities which might emerge for other people. So we'll apply all the lessons. We'll live with less. We'll live more seasonally. We'll grow more of our own stuff. We've got a water source. We've got fruit trees. We've got to have a kitchen garden. We'll be able to put a long table out into the courtyard and we'll be able to feed people. So if people are passing by, we'll have solar power and a plug-in point for vans that are passing. We'll have bell tents in the orchard for people who are cycling past. I shall have a little cycling hut. Jojo shall have a kitchen, but but it'll all be very light touch, and all of it is within the bounds of what we actually have. We're not going to borrow, this. So some of those conventional bits that we've fallen into the trap of having before, we're not falling into that trap. So we've bought what we've been able to buy from money that we've saved. So again, it removes a burden. It's in a sense, it'll be like having a permanent base where we live as if we're in a van. We'll have far less stuff. And we'll be able to project ourselves out because we're unburdened.
So will you continue in the van as well?
Yeah, I don't think Travis is going anywhere. Travis the van, we're like driftwood, and so Travis is the name of the van. We think so, because there's France is a big place to explore. We rather fell for the north of Spain and the Picos to Europe, and so there are more places to go. And who's to say, we might rent the house out for a couple of months and go scooting off, and the farm will suit itself to people coming in and doing a writer's retreat or a creative practice, or they might want to dig some vegetables and just cook their own food. And I think we've still got the wanderlust.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Well, I love that you're still on your adventure. And as you said, living your best life. I mean, it's inspirational. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Great pleasure.
So how do we follow you? How do we follow your adventures, and how do people follow you or your journey as you unpack this next chapter for you both?
So we are sprawled all over social media. We don't make anything of it. It's not a business practice. It's when we didn't have a base camp, we created one, which was a website. So feastsandfables.co.uk, and then there are links out to social media from there. What's been really interesting, as we developed a thing called the Encouragement Manifesto, and it was just a set of values that when we looked back on the deli life, it turned out those were the values we lived by. And that manifesto has become a means by which we've kind of encouraged other people to live their best life. They're not, there's no surprise to the sort of things that are included. It's about positivity, optimism. It's about celebrating other people's stuff. So all of that is captured within the website. And a lot of people, when we've asked them to, have written pieces about those values, and so now there's a really interesting and quite inspiring collection of words on there from other people who've just realized that those values are what counts, and it's time, it's the amount of giving you can do rather than the amount of taking. And so if people are at all minded to, there are some amazing words from some amazing people, voices that you wouldn't normally hear, and we've just been able to give them a little platform to and so anyone who drifts into our social media will see us celebrating a whole bunch of other people and talking very little about us. So this is quite unusual and a little uncomfortable for us to be front and center.
Well, I appreciate you sharing your story. I mean, you are, I've said it already, I'll say it again, you're an inspiration. I talk to so many people who have these conventional lives, as we referred to it, in the Western world, but are just full of clutter. And my own is the same. You know, it's just how we live, isn't it?
Yes.
And the idea of just opting out of that and taking that plunge, it would appear to be a brave move, as those ladies in the post office said to you yesterday. It just would seem brave, and you are brave. I mean, it's, you know, going out and doing anything new or unconventional takes bravery, and I take my hat off to you both. I wish you every success with this next chapter in France. It sounds amazing. When are you heading over there for that bit of your journey?
Probably, hopefully, I suppose late August, maybe before September, but certainly by October. Yeah. So.
Well,
and who knows? There might be a studio where you can record a future podcast. So you're very welcome to come out, Matt.
I only ask because I'm putting it in my diary. I'm coming. I want to sit around that long table.
Yes. Yeah.
If JoJo's got the kitchen, I'm there.
Lovely.
We'll let you know when it's there.
Well, feastandsfables.co.uk, if that's where you can find out more, then do go and check Barrie and JoJo out. Thank you guys ever so much. I'll leave you to you're in South Wales at the moment, aren't you, for an event? Is that right?
Yes, we're going to do the Love Trails Running Festival from Thursday. And I'm laughing hysterically because we don't really run, and it's full of runners. I don't quite know what we're doing. But there's other things, there's music and other stuff, and yeah, it'll be good.
It's a new adventure. We're
just
trying
pretend.
Try something different, yeah.
More bravery.
Wow, what a story, and what a journey they're on as well. The next chapter is going to be very exciting. Barrie was very kind enough to drop me an email last night after we recorded that, and has given us the address of where Encouragement Farm is with an open invitation. So we will definitely be visiting in our campervan, and I cannot wait for sitting around that table into the courtyard, enjoying JoJo's cooking and Barrie's storytelling. If you're anywhere near the area, go and follow them on Instagram, if you're ever near the area, I'm sure they would love to welcome you with open arms. Thank you both again, Barrie and JoJo, for sharing your story. I know that was very much out of your comfort zone, but it was absolutely wonderful to hear.
Feasts and Fables, that's what they're called. It's the Motorhome Matt podcast, brought to you this week with thatleisureshop.com. I'm Keith Gooden. I ask the stupid questions. Matt Sims is Motorhome Matt, and he gives the absolutely 100% accurate, fabulous answers.
Cool, we hope so.
Now, we've been asking you over the past weeks to get in touch with us, and if you've been sending us questions, audio questions, and also on email, but we want to go a step further this week, don't we, Matt?
We do. We'd love to hear from you if you've got an interesting story that you think others might enjoy listening and sharing in. So if you have, do get in touch with us. You can go to motohome.co.uk/ask Matt, and you can just give us a little tempter of your story. You can record it as on the microphone on your phone and send it to us, or just send us a message on the form that's on that page.
Yeah, your triumphs, your disasters, and maybe just somewhere that you want to recommend, or you've been a lot, or maybe has some sort of fabulous family memory connected with it. Anything.
Funny stories as well. They always make us laugh.
Yeah, we want to hear from you. How do people do that then?
So go to motorhomematt.co.uk/ask Matt.
You just repeat that for the hard of hearing and the people who can't write so fast?
Head to motorhomematt.co.uk/ask Matt.
So we hope you've enjoyed the podcast this week with me, as I say, Keith Gooden, and with Matt Sims. We'll see you for another Motorhome Matt podcast very soon. But in the meantime, you can engage with us in many ways.
You can find us on Instagram at motorhomematt.co.uk. Go and give us a like. And on YouTube. So head to Motorhome Matt on YouTube. Make sure you click subscribe and tick the bell. And then the gods of YouTube can tell you when we have a new episode out.